The left's delusions of victimhood on full display in Massachusetts. A city council meeting in the state's second largest city going off the rails after nearly 200 far-left agitators started screaming and demanding their town become a sanctuary city for transgender people.
If you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am. You better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Please.
I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
Please wrap up.
Look at me!
Okay, we're all done here. Hey,
Pathetic.
we're all done.
And the woke pressure campaign worked, with the city approving the resolution. Okay, so Dana, we've got transgender sanctuary cities now where the LGBTQ plus A1 and advocacy groups are fearful. What are they fearful of?
Well, that's what bothers me about this. I don't want anyone to feel scared. I mean, I can kind of look at this and laugh, and I did a little bit with the drama of it all. But I also think that the far left has made people who are in this situation, whether it's mental health or whether they believe it, whatever it is, if they're adults, if they're kids, I think some of these people are obviously adults. They are being made to be fearful for their lives for no reason.
Right.
For politics. Nobody is coming after them. There are going to be some rules and guidelines about bathrooms. There's going to be some rules and guidelines about sports and the protection of women's sports. There will be rules and guidelines protecting children. But when that guy says, I'm pleading for my life, I don't really understand where that comes from, except for that if he's getting fed information from the left that makes him think that he should be fearful. I don't want anyone to have to live like that.
Yeah, well, the amazing thing, or not so amazing, is the fact that you've got people like Rachel Maddow and Joy Behar, saying they're going to lose their jobs, the
Right.
ABC studios are going to be bombed, they're going to be off the air. But it's such a self-centered a concern that has no basis in fact. What are they being protected from?
They don't look young enough to play high school sports. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know exactly how the Trump administration can do anything. You can be trans in America. You can dress like that. You can act like that. As far as I know, the trans regulations only involve the military and involve sports. Everything else they can still do exactly the same. I have to say, the guy or the girl in the leather jacket was hysterical. And I'm not anti-trans. Some of these people are great. This person is hilarious. I want to get to know them. I would have a drink with that person. Man, woman, whatever she is, he is. But it is kind of funny that the left just got bushwhacked last November. And America was like, we're done with this. And the Democrats have come out and asked for reparations. They have trans sanctuary cities now. And they're basically trying to recapture that late 60s revolutionary spirit where it's a bunch of singing and dancing and swearing. This is not a civil rights movement. This is just, we don't want DEI and we want everybody to stick to their bathrooms. Once the left gets over that, I think we can get along.
Harold, apparently there's some talk of they're getting the locals to resist in enforcing laws from other states that criminalize health care on gender-affirming care. But that's for kids.
So I think that's, as I read through this earlier today and reading through it again, that seems to be the most powerful part of it in terms of the resolution, in terms of what the kind of protections that it may give people. However, it's a non-binding, it has no legal binding power. It's more of a declaration.
Right.
It sounds like from the city. I agree a lot of things what Jesse just said there about, I have no issue with anyone exercising their freedom and exercising their sexual preference. I think the issue for a lot of Americans was whether or not men would become women and compete against women in sports and go into bathrooms. I think there was a public safety and other concerns. Again, I feel terrible that someone feels the way that this person does and had to share that. And as crazy as this may sound, I think it might even behoove the president, our president, to say what you just said, which is, this is what I was trying to do. I can differ with your lifestyle, but you have freedom to live your life the way you want to live. But what I don't want is for men to be going into women's bathrooms, or little boys to go into little girls' bathrooms, and boys to be playing sports with little girls. That's my opposition to it. And it's unfortunate they had to do this, but I don't quite understand the amount of time, because it's not a legally binding resolution.
What do you think, Greg?
Harold, you're acting like this is real. This is not real. Well, this is, no, just hear me out here. Sure. Imagine that this had nothing to do with sex, and it was a group of people maintaining that they want their healthy limbs removed. Would you sit there and have apply the same kind of logic? You know, maybe we should, you don't have to listen to this. The only fear that you are experiencing is the city council terrified of them. There is no fear among all of that was performative. I'm shaking right now. That is fake. You know what? If they did not even go to this, no one would care. They would not know who these people are. But they can't live their lives where there is no attention. They cannot live in obscurity like the rest of us. They crave this chaos. The idea that somebody is targeting them is what they get off of. These people are not trans. They are trans activists. They are melodrama queens. And the council just indulges this to save their own skin. And it's kind of sad, because the sad part about it is a lot of these people are mentally ill. They will not find no joy in life because they're separated from the idea of mental health. The prism that they operate their life in will never lead them to a good place, because everything they think is wrong, and you indulge them by looking at them as a block of people when in fact they're very troubled. You feed their attention. Imagine if they weren't there. We wouldn't even have this segment. That would hurt them more if we didn't have this segment.
I'm glad we had this segment.
Well, good for you,
I
Jesse.
want to give them a lot of attention.
I like Michael Jackson. Ahead. Our
Michael
factory's
Jackson?
just a boys' club. One Democrat is convinced.